Welcome custom car fans, this is Aurora representing the EXU staff team, and today we'll be covering the newest ban list to go into effect on EXU in preparation for the next core set to be released, Power of the Elements. With this list, we are aiming to cut down on a few things currently present at EXU, FTK strategies that are unfunny and becoming alarmingly consistent, the considerable power that is due to debut in Power of the Elements, particularly with Tearlament and sprites, and the power of the previous metagame that just needs a slight curb to keep it reasonable. Without further delay, let's start off with the Forbidden list. To begin with, we must first address tradition. Black Dragon Collapse Serpent is newly forbidden from competitive play, while White Dragon Wyverbuster takes its place at the unlimited slot. This does practically nothing, but mildly annoy Chaos players, who must now adjust their lists again. We are not sorry, and we will not apologise. Now for the meat and bones of this list. 4 Poté cards find themselves forbidden in anticipation of their TCG release, the first of which being Math Mech Circular. Circular is a card that just does too much, not necessarily for Math Mechs alone, but for the Cybers pile as a whole. Its ability to extend twice with both of its effects is too much for EXU at the moment, and we would prefer to leave Math Mech the support it currently has on the server, which does similar things but with a higher investment. Next, Tearlament's Kit Kalos is prematurely at 0. This is easily one of the most powerful enablers that Tearlament has access to, being incredibly low investment for its powerful searching and enabling capabilities with its effects to mill and revive. Our final 2 picks to execute from Power of the Elements are Gigantic Sprite and Sprite Elf. Gigantic is obviously one of the most powerful individual cards ever printed in the game, essentially being a new flavour of MX Saber Invoker that completely breaks open the power of level 2 monsters by making them summonable from the deck. Elf is similarly potent due to its ease of access, powerful recovery effect, and strong protection capabilities. Due to this, even before the release of Sprite in the TCG, these cards are forbidden from EXU on competitive play. The next card getting axed is Cherubini, Airborne Angel of the Burning Abyss. While not seeing much play as of current, Cherubini represents a significant design flaw of Konami that is also present in Sprite. While it's not a generic level 2 emergency teleport or monster reborn, it is a generic level 3 foolish burial, giving it incredible potential as a combo enabler by being generically accessible. What has been seeing play, however, is our next ban, Phantasmal Lord Ultimetal Bishbalkin. To put it simply, Bishbalkin is never used for fair purposes. In almost every iteration of its existence, it will be used to enable powerful FTKs, usually in conjunction with significantly less powerful cards that do not deserve to be banned, like Geonator Transversa and number 33 Konomini Machu Mech, or used to enable insane combos that require the masses of material it can provide for essentially free, such as with Ogdoadic. The last card that's being hit on this list is to knock down a deck that has been a top meta contender in our format for some time, hopefully leaving the deck at a playable level, but weakened to a point where it is no longer degenerate. Dynamorphia Frenzy goes from unlimited to banned, so as to increase the resource investment required in Dynamorphia decks to access their powerful Floodgate boss in Rexsturm. Now onto the limited list. We'll start off with the hits that we're making to current meta contenders at EXU, in order to bring variety to a new metagame and introduce new, more rogue strategies to the forefront. Dynamorphia has been addressed with its Frenzy ban, which only leaves a couple more. Marincess Blue Tang and Marincess Wave have both been limited to 1 copy per deck, naturally curbing Marincess. While the Wave limit is superficial and the Blue Tang limit is more like a slap on the wrist due to the deck's impressive consistency, we feel like this should be enough to stop Marincess from doing everything it wants to do without any drawback. We are watching you, Marincess. No more funny business. Next up to the chopping block is Fluwanderies and the Magnificent Map. Following a number of impressive performances at EXU, it's no wonder that Fluwanderies has drawn some eyes, and a number of players have called for Fluwanderies and the Dreaming Town to be banned. However, Fluwanderies struggles with a number of things, and of those things, bricking is its toughest reality. By limiting Magnificent Map, we hope that its consistency will be further knocked down a peg, to a point where it has difficulty executing its primary plays under significant opponent pushback. The last card from the previous metagame to be hit at 1 is No Punk Foxy Tune. This is to provide a serious consistency hit to the potent Punk engine, removing the engine's ability to consistently mill of 9 cards without even using up the normal summon. A number of new cards coming in from Power of the Elements have also drawn our scrutiny. Firstly, Exorcist and Martha will be prematurely going to 1, due to easily enabling the already strong Exorcister archetype. At 1, the card will be a valuable resource for an Exorcister player, but not consistent enough to push the deck up to the viability it has reached in the OCG's Sprite and Tearlament dominated metagame. Speaking of the 2 top decks coming out of Pote, we're not quite done with them yet. Limited for Sprite are Sprite Starter and Sprite Blue. Starter is an incredibly powerful enabler for Sprite, being a searchable archetypal teleport with very strong options to summon, chief among them being Blue. And due to all of the sprites being extenders from the hand, the ability to search one from the deck essentially equals the ability to summon one from the deck. We don't want the implementation of Sprite to have collateral damage within our metagame, such as that it has had in the OCG with the recent banning of Totally Awesome, and as such, we would like to neuter it as much as possible without outright killing it. Now it functions as a strong but not overtly powerful engine in level, rank and link 2 centric decks. Limited for Tearlament are Rhino Heart and Harvness. Rhino Heart is a very powerful extender for Tearlament, giving it access to a self-reviving monster that also acts as a Foolish Burial on summon, easily enabling the spell and traps and the deck's ability to fusion summon. Harvness is simply the strongest of the remaining monsters, being able to use its mills reactively as opposed to the proactive effects of Meiru and Shaylin. Hopefully, these hits will be enough to keep Sprite and Tearlament from wrecking EXU as much as they did the OCG. The final preemptive hit that we have made in anticipation of Pote is Morphtronic Telephorn, now infamous for the powerful loops it can set up with another copy of itself. By limiting it, we would like to stop these loops from occurring, and stop these combos from coming into a metagame that isn't really ready for them. Finally for the limited list are some cards coming down from the forbidden list to rejoin the format. The first of these is Gateway of the Six, synchronizing with its position in the TCG. Gateway is certainly an interesting card, and it will be exciting to see how players take advantage of the 1 copy they can now use, especially due to the relatively high cost to search it using Battle Shogun of the Six Samurai. Also rejoining the format this time is Tri-Brigade Fractal. Even with Shureg coming off the Forbidden List last format, Tri-Brigade has seen next to no play, most likely due to having a critical mass of playable cards still on the ban list. Fractal is the deck's best play enabler and starter, and having access to it will hopefully help Tri-Brigade to compete once again, though the 1 copy should make it fragile enough to disruption where it isn't oppressive. While we're here for returning cards, we should talk about the rest of the list. Our only semi-limit this list is Danger Nessie, a strong card that has seen next to no play in the current format. Hopefully by putting this card to 2, we can increase the power of Danger decks and the Danger engines. To close out the list, we are finally putting to rest the cards that have, by popular belief, been stuck in purgatory for far too long. Newly unlimited are Madolche Queen Tiramisu and Madolche Promenade. While 1 Promenade is the usual for modern Madolche builds, and as such is affected relatively little by the unlimiting, Queen Tiramisu moving from 1 to 3 is a big change for the deck, giving it more access to removal in order to perform its powerful OTKs. Hopefully, we can see these cards thrive in the current metagame, but of course, we'll be watching, just to make sure. That's it for this Banlist update. The metagame newly reformed with Metadex Hit and Ghosts from the Past coming back to haunt the format. Who knows what will be in store next for EXU? You can find out yourself by clicking the link in the description of this video to our Discord server, where you can play competitively and casually and talk with hundreds of custom card creators around the world. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe and click the notification bell if you want to be updated every time we upload. This channel is run pretty much exclusively by 2 borderline children with other commitments, so we appreciate that our slow and inconsistent upload schedule is difficult to keep track of. And that's all from me, and we'll see you next time.